Hello, it's Ryan here from Renewed Health Supply. Hope you're doing well today. So this is just kind of a fun video. One of the things that I really personally enjoy, my family really enjoys, is hot tea. In the American market, that's kind of a misunderstood component. People think tea, they think your local Starbucks, your Caribou coffee, whatever the case may be, chais, different types of herbal teas, peppermints. But really, most folks kind of misunderstand when we say good quality tea really means. Doesn't mean your sweet tea like here in the South where people are taking bags of Lipton and putting tablespoons of sugar into it. That's certainly not what we're talking about. So let's talk a little bit about kind of what you need to actually have to produce a really good cup of tea. So first and foremost, you need to have a good tea kettle. I personally really enjoy these electric tea kettles. There's a handful of quality stainless steel ones out on the market that you can program your temperature, and it'll actually hold the temperature set at that point as well, which is important because different types of teas need to be brewed at different temperatures. You also need a good quality tea pot. Now when I say tea pot, these are a couple examples of different types of teapots out there on the market, and I'll kind of explain them to you quickly. So this is a traditional, just kind of regular ceramic teapot. You can pick them up pretty inexpensive, usually under about $20. And this would be a good one for brewing a couple cups of tea at the same time. This is called I Ching teapots. These are made out of unglazed clay in China. They always have a stamp on the bottom as to where it came from, but they all use the same type of clay. You don't wash these out with soap, and you really want to use this specific to one kind of tea. So it doesn't have to be specific to one particular black tea or green tea or whatever, but it needs to be, you don't want to intermingle green tea and black tea and oolong teas and pu'er teas and stuff of that sort. You want to keep it dedicated to a specific, variety of tea. Kind of like you want to mix red and white wines together. Same thing goes this, because they do hold flavor. Okay. And these are really interesting. So they're just straightforward empty pot. At the front of it, it has tiny little holes so your tea leaves don't go through it. And then you have what are called tetsubins. These came from Japan originally. Now India certainly turns out the vast majority of these. But these are heavy. These are iron tea kettles that are, I should say teapots. This would be a kettle. This would be a teapot that would be lined with a ceramic coating. So you're not going to have the iron end up in your water. But usually they carry a stainless steel basket on the inside, similar to this, that you can easily pour your tea leaves into to measure out, hey, how much tea you're exactly getting into. So just a couple examples. The final one I've got here on the counter is kind of interesting. So if it's just you and not a family or not a significant other, these are great. These are tea cups that also double as a thing to brew your tea in. So you simply put your tea in here, put it in, pour your water through. You can strain it out after it's time. Flip your top over, put it like this, and then enjoy your cup of tea. So lots of folks kind of have misnomers about tea. They think that you have to leave the tea in the water, in the hot water, for a prolonged period of time. That'll actually damage the properties that are in your tea leaves and turn the tea bitter as well. It doesn't turn out really well. So you want to be conscious of, if you like blacks or you like pu'ers, you like oolongs, you like greens, you like white teas, how long should I be brewing that particular type of tea? All right, so that's enough on vessels here. We'll talk about, we'll actually talk about the teas themselves. So this would be a container that we would hold the tea in. I'll give you a good example here. So here's a very good quality green tea. I've been purchasing teas for years from a place called Silk Road Teas, which is right here. I don't have any affiliation with them. We're not going to get any cash kickback. If you've got another source of tea you like, fantastic. They've just had a couple really good ones of recent years that we've enjoyed. So you would take your tea for a pot of roughly about this size. I'd probably put in about that much tea, because you have to take in consideration when you pour the hot water into it, the leaves are going to expand, and you have to give the tea the ability to expand to get the flavors and the chemical components out of it as well. So I'm making a mess here. That's okay. But hopefully this is helping a little bit. So this is one we really like, Wu Yi Green. This is their 2016 harvest. So try to buy teas when you're buying loose leaf teas like that. Want to buy them fresh. You don't want to buy 3 years old tea. You don't want to buy teas and in bags typically. Usually the lowest quality of all the teas ends up as the finings, the broken off pieces that can't be sold at a high quality company like this. They end up in the tea bags themselves. So that's a little bit about that. Now, nice thing about green teas, we really just exclusively drink green tea, and we also drink this tea called Spring Dragon Longevity Tea, which really isn't a tea at all. I'll come back to that, and we'll probably do a separate video on that altogether. But one nice thing about teas is you can actually use them as a carrying vessel for multiple other nutritional components as well. So you can take some of your herbal tinctures, like 8 Immortals, which is one of my favorites, or your 22 Reishi, which really has a kind of a very bitter taste to it as well. You can squirt some of that into your tea. It'll also burn off the alcohol. So if you really have an aversion to alcohol, you can take care of the aversion to alcohol and just boil off the alcohol very quickly from putting in a cup of hot tea as well. You can also take goji berries and throw it in. They'll really turn plump, and they'll release a lot of the flavors into it. And I encourage you to chew them up and eat them after you've had your tea as well. So that's a little bit about green teas. Spring Dragon, as I said, it's really not a tea. Spring Dragon is made out of what's called gynostema, which is also kind of commonly referred to in Southeastern Asia as southern ginseng. It's not a ginseng at all, but it's got a very, very diversified chemical profile. And this gynostema is actually dried into a dried leaf, and then they soak it in a multitude of different herbal extracts as well. So there's some astragalus in it. There's some schizandra in it as well. There's Siberian ginseng or eleuthera, which is good as well. There's a little lohan gua, so it's got a sweet flavor to it. But you really would not want to brew that into a kettle that you're going to be brewing with, with green tea or with black tea. You want to have a separate vessel altogether. So with that is a bag. It's a tea bag. You put it in, you soak it, and you can let that soak. One bag is way too much for a single cup of tea, in my opinion. It really makes 3 to 4 cups of tea for that particular product. But explore in the world of coffee, i.e. America. Don't miss the boat. Green tea is great for you. All sorts of cardiovascular, neurological, aging benefits. Very strong. You can research the constituents, the polyphenols that are in green tea, and you'll certainly find volumes of information that I can't share with you on this short video. But we encourage you to do your own research. Hope that helps a lot. And feel free to contact us if you have any questions at any time, and hopefully this gives you inspiration to have a great cup of tea this fall or winter. Thanks. Bye.